So in this video, we're going to take a look at what you can expect if you're visiting Mallorca in March. Okay, so you can see I'm down here on Alcudia Beach, but before we start to talk about what you can expect in the resorts during March, first I'm going to tell you all about what it's going to be like flying over to the island during the month of March. Now, we came through the airport just a few days ago and we arrived into Terminal C from the UK, and well, if you're flying over from the UK, well, Terminal 8 will not be opening until the 1st of April, which signals the summer season over at Palma Airport. Therefore, and I'm just putting this out as a warning, if you are coming over here and you do have mobility issues, then I really would advise booking flight assistance, because the far end of Terminal C is where you'll be arriving into. It's probably the furthest end of the airport as well. It's going to mean the longest walk over to the baggage reclaim area as well. So if you do need flight assistance, make sure you book that before you travel, and you'll be grateful for that advice because it is rather a long walk as well if you need that extra help getting over to the baggage area. So also, if you're coming over from the UK and you're arriving into Terminal C, then of course you're going to get your passports checked. I noticed as well that there's only one policeman checking the European arrivals passports. I also noticed as well there's only one policeman checking British passports and stamping those too. So if you're coming over, just be aware as well that we're going to have some quite long queues going either into departures and also coming back into arrivals as well in that far end of Terminal C for those coming over to the airport. Okay, so when you're coming into Palma Airport as well, just bear in mind that the public transport is still going to be running a winter timetable right through the month of March, and we're not going to see any changes to the TIB bus timetable as well until we head on into April. So if you are coming over before Easter itself, then just bear in mind if you want to get those buses out to resorts, you're still going to have to get the EMT A1 bus into Plaza España bus station, and you're going to have to pick up your TIB bus from there out to the resorts. The resort buses do not start running until the 1st of May. Some of them may start running a little bit earlier in April, but I'll keep you posted about that. But in March, I'm afraid you're going to have to do this transport change as well to get out to wherever you're staying on the island, because let's just bear in mind as well, we've got a very early Easter here and technically it should really be winter. So those buses just aren't going to be running until it gets a lot warmer here and until most of the hotels are open too. Okay, so what will the weather be like if you're coming over in March to Mallorca? Well, all bets are off really in terms of forecasting, and it's going to be really hard for me to predict what the weather is going to be like. A couple of years ago we had clouds all the way through the month of March and it was actually quite chilly and cold. Last year it's a little bit sunnier. I have to also just put out a warning as well that, well, we haven't actually had winter yet here in Mallorca, and this time last year I was actually down here on Alcudia Beach. There's a lot of seaweed to be cleared up from the storms that we had over the winter. We've not had those storms this year. Will they arrive in March? Will they arrive in April and May? Who knows? But all I can say is if you're coming over to the island, then maybe check the weather forecast a couple of weeks or at least 10 days in advance of your trip. Then you'll get a good idea of what the weather forecast is going to be like. But it's very hard to tell year on year to give an accurate prediction as well as to what it's going to be like this year. Now, I have made a video about how to find the most accurate weather forecasts over here on the island. I'll drop a link to that in the description text below, so make sure you go and check that out too. But as we come into March, we're going to start to see ever so slightly longer days, which means that spring is well and truly on the way. So expect a sunrise time of around 7:35. Expect a sunset time of around 6:45, stretching on to 7:10 too. And don't forget as well that right on the 31st of March, which is going to be Easter Sunday, those clocks are going to spring forward by an hour as well, so don't get caught if you're travelling on that day too by the hour change. And of course that means that we're going to get those lovely long evenings starting just as we head on into April. So what do I recommend you pack if you're coming over here on holiday in March? Well, I'd say just bring a bit of everything, because, well, we could get amazing lovely days like we're having today, and you can see I'm just wearing a jumper and a t-shirt. We could get cold chilly days as well, and we normally get the colder days when we have a cloudy day as well and the sun is blocked, but we could also get some showers, we could get some storms. So bring a coat, bring some long trousers, bring a few jumpers too, but you know, also bring your swimwear as well, because on a really warm day and on a sheltered beach, it's going to be perfectly possible to swim in the sea. I've been seeing people swim all winter, and while the water is quite fresh, it's perfectly swimmable, particularly if you have kids as well. When my daughter was younger, she swam literally throughout the year, so don't worry too much if the swimming pools are going to be really cold where you're staying. It's still perfectly possible to go and have a paddle in the sea during the month of March. Okay, so what are the resorts going to be like during March? What can you expect if you're coming over to some of our more popular resorts? Well, you're going to see some very empty beaches, like you can see here behind me. There's hardly anyone on them today, but I predict they're going to get a little bit busier as we head on throughout the month of March and as we head towards the Easter holidays too. Will there be sunbeds on the beach? It depends on the weather as well, I suspect. If we do have absolutely blazing hot weather at the end of March, maybe they might put a few sunbeds out, maybe not, but don't worry too much, because there are plenty of beach shops where you can go and pick up some sunbeds as well, so, or lilos or anything else for the beach for that matter too. The one thing though is that the resorts are going to be quite quiet, and we're going to see lots of restaurants actually starting to open around the Easter weekend as well. So, but as we head towards the Easter weekend, we're going to really start to see some popular restaurants and bars opening up throughout the island as well. So if you're coming over during that time, well, you're still going to have plenty of choice available for places to go out to. Okay, so what's going to be open over here in terms of attractions in March? Well, you may well have seen my video which I put out just a couple of weeks ago about when the Mallorca attractions are going to be opening, so go and check out that video. Once again, I shall link it either at the end of this video or down in the description text below this one. Also, don't forget to, I've got a whole playlist as well about some really easy hikes that you can go and enjoy on the island as well. The weather's just perfect for hiking, it's not too hot. The same for cycling as well. So these are just a couple of things that you can enjoy. Also, it's a great time to go sightseeing in Palma. All the emblematic buildings are open as well for you to go into, whether you're visiting the Almudena Palace or the cathedral, or you're heading up to Belvedere Castle. The one ticket I really recommend that you get is the Palma City Sightseeing hop on hop off bus. If you're just in Palma for the day, then this bus will take you around to all the sites as well. Go and check it out. It's a really good way to see the city if you're just over there just for the day. Also, March is another great time as well to get along to the markets before they get really busy in the spring and the summer. There are plenty of markets all over the island too. Check out an article I have on my website on Mallorca Under the Sun if you want to know when the market days are too. And most of these markets as well are accessible by TIB bus, or you can obviously drive there too. So this is a really nice way to get a taste of Mallorquin culture if you're over here on holiday. But it's not just the markets that you should be popping along to, because March is going to be a great month as well for some fantastic Mallorquin cultural activities and events, and it all kicks off on the 1st of March on Balearic Day. Now there'll be a huge event going on in Palma, there's going to be a huge market, there's going to be lots of dance displays as well and shows. Go and check it out, it's a huge event, it's really good fun if you're coming over here. But also taking place on the 9th and 10th of March, which is also worth seeing if you want to get the taste of Mallorquin culture, is a Fira de Fang, which is a celebration of Mallorquin pottery which takes place over in Sa Cabaneta and the whole Marachi area as well. There'll be a whole programme of activities. When I know that programme, I shall link to it in the description text below. It's something super different to do if you're over here on holiday, and well, you're going to get a really different view of the island and just take part in some of the fiestas that some of the locals go to as well. But one of the best loved fiestas taking place in March is on the 17th of March, and that is St Patrick's Day. And we have a huge carnival atmosphere over in Santa Ponsa just for the day. There'll be a huge parade going through the resorts. We're going to see a lot of the bars opening just for the day as well. Now, if you did watch my live stream from Santa Ponsa just the other week, you'll see that there is plenty of works taking place around Daniel's Corner and Zanzibar. Will they get finished in time for St Patrick's Day this year? I don't know, but I'm sure I'll be down there to go and check that parade out. So don't forget to consider subscribing if you haven't done so already to catch that video when it comes out. But in the meantime, you can also get an idea of what that event was like last year, and I'll drop a link to that video also in the description text below this video too. And finally, we have Easter taking place on the very last week of March. So starting off with Palm Sunday on the 24th of March and running all the way through to Easter Sunday on the 31st of March. So the Easter parades over here are really significant, and obviously it's the most important religious celebration of the year. So if you are over here visiting after Palm Sunday, you're going to find some of the Easter parades, well, the warm-up parades taking place just before Good Friday as well, and these are going to be taking place in most of the towns and the old towns around the island. So over in Alcudia, up in Ponsa town as well, all the way down through the island over in Sawyer, and also obviously the biggest parades taking place in Palma. Now you're going to find the most significant parades, the Easter processions, taking place on Good Friday. Even if you're over here with kids, go and check them out. They are a very solemn affair. Obviously it's not a big celebration like Carnival, it's not a big celebration like you're going to find at many of the other fairs that are taking place here on the islands, but it's also very interesting to see. And if you want to find out more about it, you want to find out more about the traditional dress and why this takes place, then I have a full article on my website, and this will give you all the most comprehensive information that you'll find out all about Easter over here in Mallorca to help prepare you for your holiday too. Okay, so appearing here and here on YouTube, you're going to find further information to help prepare you for your holiday for whenever you're coming out this summer. Don't forget to, you can find me on the Facebook group and on my Instagram, also called Mallorca Under the Sun, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Goodbye for now.